Video games are such a unique storytelling medium. Unlike books or movies where you're just an outside observer of the action, video games allow you to immerse yourself in the story and oftentimes become one of its characters. Games like RPGs or Choose Your Own Stories apply this idea to the fullest extent. But even games like platformers or fighters allow you to traverse the world of the game in the shoes of one of its characters. And since these video game stories have had a big impact on my development as a person, I only thought it would be best to celebrate them on my birthday by discussing my top 5 favorite video game characters. So let's get started with number 5. Before we start, let me clarify I'm talking about the Dragon Quest Builders 2 version of Malroth, not the Dragon Quest 2 version. At first, I thought I wouldn't care for Malroth and would be annoyed by him following me around the entire game. He just seemed too grumpy and edgy for my taste, and if he tried to hurt Lulu one more time. As the game went on though, I started to warm up to him, and in the end, he became one of my favorite characters of the game, if not of all time. Having him fight alongside the Builder was a great choice by the developers, since it not only was really helpful in certain situations, but it also gave time for the character of the Builder and for the player to bond with Malroth, even if he was just an NPC. Malroth provides an interesting contrast to the Builder, and he even serves as a sort of discussion on the impact of nature versus nurture. And while knowing that he was literally called the Master of Destruction kind of spoiled the idea that he would turn evil, the game still kept the stakes of his fall by putting the responsibility of stopping him on the player. Yeah, I was pretty much expecting Malroth to live in the end, but it was still sad seeing him struggle against Hargon's influence, and I worried how alive he would really be. Malroth is one of the best sidekicks in a video game, as well as one of the best characters overall, and he does a great job of getting the player emotionally invested in Dragon Quest Builders 2. Again, I should probably clarify that I'm talking about the Dragon Quest Heroes version of Elena rather than the Dragon Quest IV version, but only for the most part this time. I know it's another Dragon Quest pick, but I really like this franchise, okay? Ever since I saw Elena in the spin-off game Fortune Street, I knew I was gonna like her, even though I didn't have much story or dialogue to go off of. I mean, just look at her cute little bob as she waits for her turn. Elena, and Kirill as well, are the first Dragon Quest characters to be introduced in Dragon Quest Heroes, and what an introduction it is! Elena's character is the pretty classic archetype of the rebellious princess who wants a life with more to it than one stuck behind castle walls. What makes Elena special is just how far they take this archetype, to the point where she might be a bit too adventurous. She's headstrong and reckless, but she's got the bronze to back it up, and not only is her character well written and likable, she's just really fun to play as also. Die, 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 die! I've always loved energetic and determined characters who have the skill to back up their ambition, so of course Elena was the perfect match for me. Super Mario Galaxy was an important part of my childhood, as it was for many others. And although it didn't make my top 5 games of all time, which you can find out what did make it if you watch that video, it definitely still lands in my top 10. Not only did this game have innovative gameplay, but it was one of the most story-driven Mario games. And for me, it wouldn't have been nearly as impactful if not for the character of Rosalina. Her character is best featured in the storybook readings in the library, and this is honestly one of the sections of Mario Galaxy that I remember the most. Well, next to the penguin surfing game. I like that part. Rosalina's backstory handles some pretty dark and heavy subjects, especially for a Nintendo game, but it does it in a way that is easy for kids to understand, and that only gets more impactful the more you grow up. Rosalina was seemingly fairly young when her mother died, and not only was it sad seeing her mother go, it also made her afraid. She felt like no one was there to protect her, and she wondered how she would go on without her mother watching over her. But then Rosalina met Luma, who was in a similar situation as her. He had lost his mother, and so him and Rosalina set out to find her. As she journeyed through space and met even more Lumas though, Rosalina realized that she could be their mother so that they didn't have to feel the same pain that she did. And so she went from being a vulnerable little girl afraid of what she would do without her mother's protection to taking up her mother's torch and caring for others in need. It's a simple but sweet story, and one that impacted me as a kid and impacted me even more today. The thing about Rosalina that's the most noteworthy to me is that Nintendo could have just made her like every other princess, which, while lovable on a surface level, can't be connected with on an emotional level. But they put in the extra effort, and it really paid off, making Rosalina one of my favorite video game characters of all time. I know I've fangirled about ChunLi and Street Fighter in general a lot already, but she's just such an amazing character. When talking about ChunLi's character, Capcom designer Akira Nishitani said, "Previously, there were no women in fighting games. In ChunLi's case, I wanted a woman in the game." Such a simple yet profound statement if you ask me. In an effort to be more inclusive, a lot of games and media in general are trying to add more female characters, especially ones that are tough and defy the pretty princess stereotype. Sadly, a lot of them miss the mark by stopping there and saying, "Well, we got a cool warrior woman, we're good." And then they don't add any extra depth to the character, making them bland and unrelatable. ChunLi could have easily gone this route of tough fighter chick made to empower women, but she has interesting depth and motivations beyond her tough chick personality. She's an Interpol officer with unwavering determination to take down criminals, specifically M. Bison in the Shadaloo organization. At the same time though, she can be a bit arrogant and act on her emotions. This balance between strengths and weaknesses make ChunLi a really interesting character to me. And yeah, it is pretty annoying when all of this character is shoved aside for boob physics, but in the end, ChunLi's fighting prowess and unstoppable resolve to fight for justice make her fun to play and fun to root for. Oh, Kirby. Let's be honest, I can't really write a giant analytical paragraph about the immense depth of this pink blob. Unless I'm talking about his stomach, of course. But I don't think that means Kirby should be any less appreciated. Today is my birthday, and I'm 1 year closer to leaving my childhood behind. Soon I'll be heading off to college, and then I'll be living on my own. And then I'll get a job, and get married, and have kids, and grow old, and live in a nursing home, and die, and soon no one will even remember me, and then— But throughout all of this, I can come back to Kirby. Kirby, a simple pink blob with big blue eyes and big red shoes. He doesn't have much to say and not much to do in life. He mostly just acts based on whatever trouble comes his way. Then he goes back to playing in the grass, eating food, or just watching the sun rise and set. For me, Kirby represents true childhood, that time in your life when everything is simple, when something as little as a bowl of ice cream or a new toy can make you feel so happy. Or, in my case, playing a video game, squeezing to fit on the couch with my sister as we work together to beat another level of Kirby's Epic Yarn, or spending time with just me and my dad as we took turns playing Kirby's Adventure on the computer. In the grand scheme of things, Kirby isn't a marvel of writing or gameplay, but he's important to me, and so I had to put him at the top of my list. I guess I'm getting ahead of myself. I still have a few years left at home, and I'm still technically a kid, and I'm going to enjoy those years while I have them. But I know when I grow up, and I wish I could go back to my childhood years, Kirby will be waiting for me. I can't physically turn back time, but in a way I can with Kirby, and that's why he's at the top of my list. Thank you for watching and celebrating my birthday with me. I'll see you next time.